Thank you, Tim. My name's Priscilla Strapp, and as Tim mentioned, I was on the team that went to Japan this summer. I actually spent the first 18 years of my life in Japan. And 11 years ago, when I was introduced to Unbound and received so much freedom myself, my heart yearned for Japan. This is the key, I thought. This is what the land of my birth needs so desperately. You see, Japan is a country with incredible beauty, but beauty that is woven tightly with deep darkness at the same time. In Japan, the work of evil spirits is woven into the calendar, the ritual celebrations, even the architecture. And to have Christians set free from the bondage of the enemy and be able then to carry this message to their neighbors would be beyond powerful. Japan is highly resistant to the gospel, not because of any official stance, but just because people don't need it, and it's seen as Western, not Japanese. So how could the message of Unbound ever go? I wanted to take it, and I didn't think it would ever happen. I saw no way. In the providence of God, my husband decided this year that our family should join this mission trip that the church called for to go to Sendai, Japan to support some missionaries that our church has over there. We planned the trip for 6 months, and as far as we knew, it would consist of presenting cultural talks to a variety of schools and community centers. About 2.5 weeks, after 6 months of planning, about 2.5 weeks before we were to leave in June, I received a letter from a Japanese pastor in Tokyo. Someone in our town has read Unbound, he said, and wants to know if you can present an Unbound seminar. Obviously, my answer was, could I? And so with Matt Lozano's help and blessing, we pulled together, Tim Bathurst and I, pulled together a one-day seminar of 4 talks, a Q&A time, and several hours of ministry sessions in the afternoon. So Unbound Tokyo, June 24th, 2017. What did God do? Christians from almost 20 churches came together, men and women, young and old, representing over 14 countries. Prayer ministry that afternoon lasted from 2 o'clock until after 6 p.m. on that day and continued for 2 weeks afterward. First with those who spoke English, but very soon moving on to monolingual Japanese Christians who heard of us by word of mouth. You see, mother sent daughter and friend sent friend. The deepest wound of the Japanese heart is fatherlessness. No one, not one single person that we prayed with made it to adulthood without that trauma in their life. Distant fathers, critical fathers, angry fathers, rejecting fathers, absent fathers, adulterous fathers, always and especially betraying and adulterous fathers. And during this prayer time, as Christians were led through the 5 keys, they were able to express, for the first time, deep grief, decades-long deep grief. It was powerful. What is next for Japan? Well, the Unbound book is currently being translated into Japanese. Yeah. The person who's translating it came to the conference and immediately volunteered to translate it. She's currently through chapter 4, and that's number 1. And number 2, The woman who interpreted for me this summer when we were praying for people who only spoke Japanese has come to the conference this weekend, all the way from Japan. And she arrived with a Macedonian call from her circle of churches. Come on over and train us. Well, I hear that call loud and clear. And I'm hoping that Heart of the Father hears that call as clearly as I do. You see, you put those two things together, the book being translated and this Macedonian call, and what do you get? You get a training conference in Japan, followed by an Unbound Freedom in Christ conference. And when Matt and Neil put the team together, Pastor Tim and I will be first in line. And I want to tell Heart of the Father, I believe with all my heart that Japan is the open door to the rest of Asia. In Japan, and in fact at this conference, we meet Chinese, Mongolians, Vietnamese, Thai, Filipinos, Indians, Indonesians, Malaysians, Australians, New Zealanders, some of whom pray every single day for North Korea, some of whom go to North Korea. Where will God send Unbound next?